off, but let's go for it. It's Dakota here, and it's Mr. Review Yo Mixtape, hanging out here, just chilling in mi casa. Mi casa es mi casa. Okay, so but it's time for these reviews. I've been doing these reviews of albums that I missed or heard for a couple days and then left on my mission because a lot of good stuff was coming out right around the time I left for my mission that I didn't have a chance to review for you guys. But it is time for a review of the Biebs' latest album, Purpose. We all know the Biebs has been subject to so many memes and so much hate and love from adoring fans. But yeah, the Biebs, man, he's been one of the biggest solo pop acts since who knows when. He's like a modern day white Tevin Campbell. Yeah, sure, let's go with that. The years leading up to this release with car crashes and spitting on fans and just being hateful to interviewers and constant shirtless conceited selfies. But the Biebs has kind of mellowed out. Has admittedly said he's made some mistakes and gave us this album not too long ago. And this album is called Purpose, and it does have a lot of purpose, and the purpose of it is to sound pretty dang good. I didn't know what to expect from this album, and I will tell you this, the only reason that I did buy it is because the What Do You Mean single dropped. I saw an article about the sexy video that accompanied it, and I'm like, let me see what Bieber's up to, because I used to be a Bieber fan. Back in the My World days, I enjoyed Bieber's music. I really did. It was very sugary, bubblegummy, but he had a couple hits that I really enjoyed, and I supported him. But the Believe album was just not my cup of tea. But that's beside the point. But anyway, I thought, let me check this out, and then I heard the What Do You Mean single, and I thought, dang, this is good. This is really good. Like, this is throwing me off how much I like this. And so the album drops. I'm thinking, is the rest of the album going to be similar to this? Not totally identical, but it's close. And this album, Bieber, wow. But yeah, starts out with Mark My Words. Bieber sounded good. Got some kind of self-harmonization vocal samples coming in underneath him. Goes into the track I'll Show You. Very airy, kind of trap influenced dance, ambient, but it's also kind of really chill. It's for a dance music album, this album's really chill. Now the tone that it takes with Mark My Words and I'll Show You, and another song later down in the track listing, Company, songs like this, the production on this, Bieber's vocal style on this, it kind of keeps this theme throughout the whole project. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you can listen to the album, and if you're in this mood, if you're feeling these vibes, you're gonna stay in those kind of cloudy, transient vibes for the duration of pretty much this whole album, with the exception of a couple singles. But a couple of songs, it does kind of get to be like, okay, this is a bit much. You could have done something different. However, I will commend Bieber for, not stepping outside his comfort zone, because he sounds better on this album than he sounded on any of his projects. Like, this truly sounds like Bieber, wanted to do this, and, this is coming from his heart, mind, and soul. But this is, a bit more mature for Bieber. He's really, kind of reaching out and experimenting with some different sounds that he has not gone anywhere near and ever. Take a look at some of the features on this thing. It's ever since 2011, 2012, we've known that Bieber has kind of had these rap influences. He's kind of been like a frustrated hip-hop artist. But on this album, he just, instead of doing the rapping himself, which I appreciate him not really doing that, he goes and gets some very interesting features on this. I have to say, the feature that shocked me most to see on the track listing was Travis Scott. I knew Bieber was on the Rodeo album, which was surprisingly good. His feature was surprisingly good on that way. His chemistry with Young Thug and Travis Scott would not be something you'd expect from the Biebs. So, was I expecting something similar on this? Kinda. But this was, way different. This production was a lot less edgy and experimental than Travis Scott's is. You can definitely hear the Travis Scott influence, especially when he comes in on his verse. But it's interesting. Also a feature from Big Sean on the song No Pressure, which is a dope, smooth, sexy R&B banger. Dat bass, that guitar, that little whoop sample that comes in every now and then. Oh my goodness, this is all. No Pressure is definitely, hands down, my favorite song on the album. I don't care what you say, like Bieber laid it down on this. That falsetto though. Even Big Sean, who is a rapper I've come to really enjoy, surprisingly, over the past year. You know, some of the lines on his verse are kind of corny, yes, but sometimes they're so simply poignant. Now, a couple other features on this thing. You have Halsey, who is, you know, a alternative R&B, a kind of a millennial hipster pop, go against the conformity, explore your sexuality, kind of, you know, female singer, which, wow, don't have many of those around. But even though I have to say I do not like her solo stuff, but on this song, The Feeling, she sounds just perfect on this chorus. She does a very good job. Her falsetto's very good. She sounds like she is kind of crying out, trying to figure out, am I in love with you, or the feeling of being in love with you. You know, don't get it twisted. Even though Bieber is stepping out of the box a little bit, even though he's making more of a mood album than necessarily an album driven by singles, there are still single moments on this album. Case in point, the song Sorry, which is this island, you know, Caribbean themed dance hall house track, which at first didn't like the song at all. There's a little bit of a volume issue. The song is way louder than the 3 tracks that precede it, but this album really grows on you, especially that Timbaland snare that, you know, is rolled in the pre-chorus and the pre-drop. And I really like kind of the synthesized horn shots coming in on the dance breaks too. The track What Do You Mean, which is a very enjoyable track. As I said, this is the one that sucked me into this album. You know, just a nice, simple, kind of plucked keyboard house beat, you know, with some, you know, mimicked and very clearly fake, kind of like Brazilian pan flute synthesizers coming in under it, just to give it a little bit of an exotic feel, kind of sounding like music in like Rainforest Cafe or something. And there's of course the Skrillex and Diplo collaboration that he did called Where Are You Now, which came out, you know, a significant amount of time before this album, but it was stuck on here, and I think it was a smart move. One, this is another single that people love that is going to drive album sales on this even more, and 2, it fits the rest of the feel of this album. I'm sorry, the one track I failed to mention, one of the huge hits, was Love Yourself, which was actually a song I heard about 2 days before I left on my mission, and I thought this song's gonna blow up, and sure enough, when I was riding around on a bike in the streets of Fresno, California, I heard this song coming out of every car window for miles. But yeah, a great Ed Sheeran pin track that is simple. It's good. The video is really funny too, just a side note for him. Really nice horns too in the bridge that are very smooth and very different. So aside from just the kind of neo R&B, you know, dreamy, you know, dance pop stuff going on all over this record, there are a couple piano tracks here. So, you know, Bieber trying to be more stripped back, trying to be more introspective. Not really a whole lot of complaints with this album, except it sometimes can be a one-trick pony. Just a few tracks that I didn't really enjoy, like Children. I thought this was his modern-day version of Pray. If you guys remember that song, kind of like a outrospective, what can we do to change the world, kind of like chameleon-eyes perspective thing. It kind of reconverted me to being a Bieber fan, and I don't know how he would follow this up. Like, this is a solid album. It sounds good, it's clean, it's crisp. You know, his vocals sound better on this than they have in a while. You know, there's more singles. You know, honestly, I would recommend this as an introductory project. If you're gonna check out Justin Bieber, like, this is his most, like, you know, project with the most depth and the most sonic variation, guys. There's other videos on the channel, you can check them out. You know, take my word for it. But listen, you know, go give a view to him, give a comment, give a sub, share it with your friend, all that fun stuff, and you know, until we see each other again, this is adieu.